All right. Hi, I'm Tom Proctor, host of the Thomas Loop on allwnyradio.com. September the 5th, 2012. We're streaming live. Ustream under username allwny radio. That's one word. It's pretty much on demand 24/7 after the broadcast. It'll be truncated. I'm going to probably let up around 9:30. I have special guest over the phones. His name is Scott Leffler. He is the founder of allwny radio, and he's the guy that helped carry the torch to Noah Goki to put it on the map and to put it where it's at today with regarding from just one guy who loves live music. We're going to talk with Scott momentarily. And I would like to start off with a tune by an extremely talented local musician. His name is Nick Spicone. This is Bill Withers' version of Use Me on all.
Nick Spicone, playing at Legends, Acoustic Mile.
Yeah, my friends, it's the point that we take. You keep trying to tell me that all you want to do is use me.
You gotta keep that light on him. It was perfect and the light was on him.
But my answer, all that you've been stirred. I wanna spread the news. If it feels this good getting used, you just keep on using me till you use me. Till you use me up.
Back up.
Yeah, my good girl.
Back up again.
You said me right time to talk to me. He told me I ought not let you just walk on. And I'm sure he did well when our talk was through. I said, brother, if you only knew, you'd wish that you were in my shoes. You just keep on using me till you use me up. Until you use me up. Well, sometimes it's true. You do use me. You get in a crowd of my best people.
No?
And you talk
Kind of sloppy. Tell me why I gotta keep doing that every time, too.
Yeah, I wanna spread the news. If it feels this good getting you, you just keep on using me.
Probably is not.
Till you use me up.
Is it? So.
I'm talking about you using me. Well, depends on what you do. It ain't too bad the way you're using me, 'cause I'm sure I'm using you to do the things you do.
I know. I was like, uh-oh.
Do the things you do. Do the things you do.
allwnyradio.com. That was Nick Spicone playing live from Legends. He actually jammed alongside me a couple times. That was in August, not too long ago. You're in the Thomas Loop. Tom Proctor here, host, allwnyradio.com. All WNY Radio has been awarded the best podcast, and proud to be that representative for all 4 shows. Again, we stream live on Ustream, 8 p.m. on Wednesdays. Also, the show before me, the flagship show of all WNY Radio, Noah Goki, Noah's Ark, at 6 o'clock, heard Wednesdays at allwnyradio.com. We also will download the podcasts onto YouTube, and you could be heard on iTunes as well toward the weekend. Okay, we're going to be waiting for the founder of allwnyradio.com, journalist Scott Leffler, will be talking to me live momentarily here. So we will be giving him a call. Either I will be giving him a call via Skype, or he will be calling me, but either way, we will discuss how All WNY Radio came about. You could also find us on Facebook. We have a Facebook page. It's bordering 500 likes right now. It's really taken off over the past 2 months. Here's a call via Skype. That is Scott Leffler. I'm going to pick up the phone here at allwnyradio.com, the Thomas Loop. Welcome, Scott Leffler, the founder of allwnyradio.com. How are you tonight?
I'm doing pretty well, Tom. You make me sound so important. I always enjoy talking to you because my ego just right through the roof.
Hey, man, it's warranted. It's warranted. How's everything going over there?
Things are wonderful. I'm working, or allegedly working. Obviously, I'm not working right now because I'm here talking to you, but I'm at work tonight doing whatever it is I do. Some days I don't know what that is, and most days my boss doesn't know, so that's kind of important.
We're live via Skype here. You can give us a call at area code 716-402-4218, the founder of allwnyradio.com. I'll ask him momentarily. His name is Scott Leffler. He's a journalist for Greater Niagara Papers, also does several other things on the side. Scott, man, what was the vision that you've had that, let's say, hey, man, I want to do something. You're a huge live music fan, but I want to do something to get awareness out, and then you came up with All WNY Radio. How long was that period of time in which you planned for and put it onto the air?
I would say it probably took between 6 to 8 months to go from my concept to actually being a live 24/7 stream, which has persisted ever since. So I would say it was probably about 6 to 8 months. I was doing radio at the time with WLVL, and I like to use music going into and out of commercial breaks, just like every other talk show host in the world does. And I was using a lot of national stuff, Pearl Jam, that sort of stuff. And some local people would send me some music and say, hey, use our stuff. And I thought, that is an awesome idea. So I started using local music, and I put the word out and said, I want to use as much local music as possible. Well, I just got flooded. I mean, absolutely crushed with music from local bands. Lockport, the Tonawandas, Buffalo, Rochester, you name it. Came from all over the place. And I thought, there's no way I can possibly use all this here on WLVL. So I thought, how can I get these people better access to the airwaves? So I actually started a show on WLVL where I would have a band come in every Friday and play live. And I'd interview them. We'd talk about who they were, what they did, etc. They'd play a couple live songs, and that was it. But I still felt like I wanted to do more. So I sat down with some friends of mine, my friend Joe Spear, my friend Tom Christie, and I said, this is what I want to do. And they said, all right, let's make this happen. So in the long run, Let's, of course, ended up being just me. And although I credit Joe and Tom for helping me with the concept, really when it came to creation, I ended up being somewhat alone. And I contacted Live 365, which was who we were using for streaming at the time. And a guy by the name of Jason Stoddard there helped me to get everything up online and everything running. And it ran flawlessly. From day one, it was gorgeous, and I could cut in and do live intros, and I could just let it stream music, and it could be as hands-on as I wanted it to be, and sometimes I wanted it to be very hands-on, or it could be, laissez-faire, and it would just play music and I would leave it alone. So from day one, it just sort of worked. And the more bands heard about it, the more bands loved it, and the more bands sent us stuff. And we had rap music and rock music, and we had folk music, and we had, any type of music you could possibly imagine, classical music and music that didn't have genres. And it was a blast from day one. And I met the most phenomenal people. You not being one of them, but not because, you're not
cool.
phenomenal, but I've known you for, almost 30 years now, Tom.
Yeah, that's crazy. Scott Loeffler live with us here at allwnyradio.com, the founder of allwnyradio.com, and the Thomas Loop. This is very unusual. I mean, this guy has been in journalism and in radio broadcasting for, pretty much 20-plus years, if that's correct, right?
Yeah, for... not 20 plus, but 20 years. 20 years I've been doing media.
And, I mean, you've also hosted a couple shows on a former WEC station, 1230. You had a concept also called Music Friday. Could you describe what that was all about?
Well, Music Friday was, I mentioned it briefly there. I would have a band come in every Friday. Almost always they came in. Sometimes we had to do it by phone. But the plan was, it's the end of the week. I was done thinking about work. My show was the last real thing that I had to do in the week because I was working in radio full time.
Yeah.
But Friday at noon, I pretty much checked out for the week. So I would bring a band in, and they would come in and play some songs, and we would talk about their music. And I liked to pick bands that had a show somewhere that weekend so that people could tune in on Friday and go, hey, I like this band. I want to go to whatever bar they're at this weekend and listen to them. Or sometimes people will go, man, this band sucks, and that happened. I had a few bands that at the end of the set, I was like, all right, well, note to self, do not work with them again. But for the most part, all the bands that I had were really a lot of fun, and I'd like to think that I helped them in some very minor way because they sure as heck helped me because they made my life more interesting and they made my week end on a positive note for weeks and weeks and weeks on end. Tom, your listeners might want to know that the podcasts for Music Friday are all available on the All Western New York Radio website.
Oh, I did not know that.
If you go to the podcast section and just keep scrolling back and scrolling back and scrolling back to 2007?
Yeah.
You'll find podcasts from Music Fridays.
So that started before you were advanced into WEC Radio 1230 AM and WLVL, and that was during your concept through that began from all WNY Radio and then was moved forward to that. I'm trying to
no. It started on WLVL.
Okay.
But I had a really great relationship with the owners at WLVL.